Good evening. That is a very long intro, Tony. Tony, we might need to shorten that a little bit, mate. Right. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to everybody. Hope everyone is well. Welcome to the Preview Lounge. We have a wonderful Leicester fan today. We have Chris. How are you doing, Chris?
Wonderful. Oh, me, yeah. Well, a sad day, but
we will get into that.
I'm happier than I was. Well, looking forward more to the match this time than I was after the last time we played earlier in the season. But I hope you are well as well.
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Obviously, you did bring. It's a bit of a sad day. There's two things we want to cover very briefly and as kindly as we possibly can. The first story, unfortunately, was the breaking news this morning that John Motson sadly passed away. For anyone that doesn't know him, he is a legendary commentator. Definitely for me, probably for Chris as well.
Yeah.
He covered 10 World Cups, 10 European Championships, 29 FA Cup finals, and obviously from all of us here and Chris as well, our thoughts go to his family and friends at this sad time. And also for YouTubers like me, like Chris, like anyone, Armoury, Full-Time Sport Network, wherever you are from, I'm pretty sure you would have bumped into Stephen Fleetley. Now, Stephen Fleetley sadly is struggling with his health right now. I don't want to comment too much about his health issues right now, but he is sad news at the moment. He is a fellow YouTuber, fellow Arsenal fan, and Lewis Hamilton fan, which is how I met him through F1. And again, once again, our thoughts go to his family and friends at this horrible time right now. And what I will say is at the bottom of the screen, normally we're promoting our channels, but today I felt that it needs to be about Stephen's charity that he promotes on his YouTube. So if you can, got a spare few minutes, go to the childliverdisease.org, have a read through. If you can support it or donate in any way, please do. It'll be really, really appreciated. Chris, is there anything you want to say on either of those two matters?
I mean, well, first of all, John, because you brought him up first, any of us of a certain age, we grew up with Motti. He was, and somebody said this earlier because they did a lot for him because he worked for Talk Sport at the end. They did a lot for him, talked about it a lot today. When I was growing up, we didn't have the 20-odd different commentators that you've got these days. You know, you had one on the radio and one on Match of the Day, and Brian Moore was his equivalent, if you like, for ITV, but it was his voice. And if you look back at all the classic moments, I mean, you know, we say there's the Aguero shout and the Vardy when he got 11, but you go back to, you know, all the classic moments, it was John Motson. Yeah. It was always him. And he'll be the first to admit, you know, that he was covering that Hereford-Newcastle FA Cup game when John Radford scored in what, to be totally honest with you, was a mud bath, not a pitch. But that goal, and he often says that he would not be where he is now if it had not been for that goal. But I tell you what struck me is that everybody that came on to talk about him mentioned he had time for everybody.
Yeah.
And he was such a nice guy. Stephen, and we wish him and wish his family all our thoughts at the moment. One of the first YouTubers that when I started my channel, which is about 3 seasons ago now, was one of the first ones that kind of interacted with me through a fellow Arsenal fan. I will miss his banter. He was Arsenal through and through. He didn't always like the process. He didn't always support the manager. But what always shone through was his love of Arsenal, because you couldn't be how he is if you weren't totally committed to your club. And he was. And I'll miss that. I said to you only last week I was on the show and I was fishing him, but he gave as good as he got.
Yeah,
he took it in the right way, and he gave it back in the right way. And it's again sad news.
It is. Obviously, I'll speak on the F1 part as well. If you ever mention Red Bull or Ferrari to him, that just started him off straight away. Anything anti-Lewis Hamilton started him off straight away. I loved him for it. I'm a Mercedes fan myself, and obviously Lewis fan. Obviously, being British. But yeah, it's just I just loved him. He's just so passionate about everything, and I love that about people. You need a passion. Just want to quickly get into the comments before we actually start talking about the game. Evening to Luke. Hope you're doing well, Tony. Evening to both of us. Arsenal analysed. Hope you're doing well. Evening to Brenny. Oh yes, Dickie Davies as well.
Dickie Davies, bless him.
He's
Yes,
passed away this week as well. Nice tribute to John Motson. Classy for me to mention Stephen and his charity. Thank you very much, Luke. I just felt it was right. A lot of people don't actually know him, but I actually know him through F1 instead of football, which is a bit weird. But yeah, I've been in his chat for like the Arsenal stuff, but we've actually spoke on F1 more than anything else. And big up to Colm. Hope you're doing well, and I hope you're United. Because you always wind me up, Colm, I hope your United lose tonight. That's all I'm saying. There we go. Because you know what? He always comes in and starts winding me up. I'll big up to Ross.
When you're saying United, of course, you do mean Stockport United, don't you?
Well, it's the only one that's in the Northwest.
Well, to be honest, this is what it gets me with City as well, not just United, and whether it's a Manchester thing or not. But people say, "Oh, come on, United," and I say, "Stockport, yeah, good luck to them."
He's come back anyway. Big up to Ross. He's the Aston Villa that's joined me last week. Loving the chat. Keep up the great work. Good to see Leicester climb up the table and keeping the faith in Rodgers. I knew I'll get a comeback. I can't wait to see Leicester.
I can't wait either, and I haven't got many years left in me.
How are title contenders United going to get onto that? There we go. Right, so I've started it off in the chat, so that's wonderful. Right.
Right. Oh, it's going to be a long night.
It is going to be a long night. Right. Obviously, we're playing Leicester this Saturday. It's not televised. It is away at the King Power. I always do this. I brought up the last 10 fixtures against Arsenal Leicester. Obviously, the Arsenal scores are on the right because obviously we're the away team. It's been a mixed bag for both of us, really, hasn't it? I don't think there's any favourites. Like if you're looking at the fixtures,
you for many. I mean, we've. I mean, put my teeth in and try that again. 33 times we've played each other in the Premier League, and I'm going back to like the Martin O'Neill days. We've only beaten you 5 times. I mean, when we won the Premier League, which was more recent than you guys, I just thought I'd remind you of that. And exactly. Can I just say, by the way, I love the fact that if you Google map the Emirates Stadium, you've actually it actually shows that you've got a time capsule buried there. And I'm just wondering if that's got your last trophy in it. But no, look, we've beaten you 5 times. You've beaten us 20. There's been 8 draws. We went through a long, long period where that we just couldn't beat you. And, and I think we eventually, just before Wenger left, I think we actually got to beat you. Even in the season when we won that, like I say, you beat us twice. Yeah. You celebrated in, of course, the dressing room like you'd won the title, which was great because that was the motivation we needed. But yeah, you beat Tottenham, which was a consolation prize. I mean, Arsenal, it's just one of those games, like with Spurs the other week. Sorry to mention that word on this channel.
No,
we didn't expect to get anything from that, and we walloped them 4-1. I'm like, I've never done a watch along with my chin on the table so long. So I think you are out and out favourites.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into who you. We'll get into who you think might win it later. But
you won't win it, but you're favourite.
Yeah. Well, that's my theory as well. So don't be too shocked about that. But what I was going to say before I actually get into the questions that I talked to you about before the show, the Tottenham game. Did you? Because I haven't actually seen the full game. I've just seen the clips and the stuff I need to watch. But what the heck happened?
I don't know. We couldn't buy a win. Look, it's been documented. It hasn't been a good season for us.
Yeah.
We couldn't get players in the summer because of financial fair play. We were warned by UEFA that we were very, very close to breaking their FFP. If it hadn't been for COVID and those sort of allowances, we would have done. So obviously on the last couple of seasons, we thought we're in with a chance of getting into Europe, so we better abide by it. Then the next problem was that we'd got the full squad. However many players you sign, you can only register as 26 players, and we've done that. So if we brought anybody in, we couldn't necessarily play with everybody, so we would be paying players that were just sat there twiddling their thumbs. And then, of course, we had the Fofana situation, the absolute. I'm sorry, I won't swear on your channel, but we're not very happy with him. Shall we just say that?
Yeah.
Which enabled us to bring Wout Faes in, that one proper signing in the summer. Funny enough, his first game was actually the first game at Tottenham. That was his first game when they beat us 6-2. Yeah. And he got man of the match for Leicester. I mean, he was the defender. It was also the first game for our defensive coach. In the January window, and we don't usually do a lot of business in the January window, but we had to because otherwise we were in the deep doo-doos. We all knew as fans and as managers the three positions that we needed to cover. And we went out and we covered them. And we've got three, including Faes, amazing players. And when Brendan isn't allowed to pick the players, when the actual recruitment team are allowed to do their job, look at us. We unearthed some amazing players, Fofana, Kante, Mahrez. It's been going on. We've got a brilliant scouting system. And we got those players came in. And the first game after the transfer window was Villa. 11th, we beat them 4-2, I think it was. We came back from being behind twice. And then Spurs came along. And it just, they had a bad day. Let's be honest with you. But, the argument is, did we let them play well or did we stop them playing well? Sorry. The three players, we've got our back four have only now played 3 games together. And that was the Villa, the Tottenham and the Man United one. We're very lucky that Faes is still available to play any other games after that challenge off Stabitzer. Yeah. But that's another story. But I don't know. Because, Kane, I was waiting for them to bring him on. I didn't know he'd been on for sort of the game where he was. Son as well disappeared, and he absolutely tore us one in the first game. He came on as a substitute. Yeah. We've got a hat-trick. Yeah. It's what we love about football. You just never know how these things are going to turn out. And that's why we love the game so much. Everything we did that day came off. And everything the Spurs did that day didn't come off, if you know what I mean. But in fairness to Spurs, their season, you don't know what Spurs, the week before, they beat Man City.
Yeah.
Spursy, somebody says in the chat there, Spursy. It is a word. It should be in the English dictionary because you just don't know how they're going to turn up and play.
It is. It's
that was a very long answer.
No. I wanted to know because I remember doing the watch along earlier in the season when Son came on, and they tore you apart. So I wasn't expecting anything what happened at King Power at all. No. And it was just a surprise. It's a happy surprise being an Arsenal fan. What I will say is we have a sister channel that's actually a Tottenham channel, and I actually do watch-alongs on it as well. So I have to be very careful what I say about Tottenham because they will come out.
Just remember on Saturday that we did one over Tottenham for you. Just remember that.
Right, let's get into the questions about Leicester. We'll try and cover these quickly or as short as we can. How are you feeling about Leicester City's season so far? Honest.
I think I've covered a lot of that in the question I've just said. It's looking better now than it was. I'm not going to, pre-window. It's such a weird season. The World Cup in the middle of it. 1 minute Leeds are down, then they're suddenly up. Then Southampton are winning, and they might. If we were to finish this season 17th, I would be happy. That's how I feel about this season. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because we keep getting dragged into it. I mean, I only thought we'd get 5 points this month. We've already got 6, so we're ahead of that. But we've got, I think, Chelsea coming up that could be beatable. We've got, yourselves coming up. We're playing the top teams, if you like.
Yeah.
But I've actually had a gate built in my fence because I was changing sides so often. Rodgers in, Rodgers out, Rodgers in, Rodgers.
Yeah.
It's been a topsy-turvy season. The problem is that since we've won the Premier League, since we won the FA Cup, a lot of fans are saying, well, we finished 5th twice. We've been in Europe 2 seasons, semi-final of a European competition. I mean, for Leicester, it's been an amazing ride. But fans, once you have success, they expect it all the time. And these last few seasons, that's not always the case.
Yeah.
So if Brendan gets us into a top 10, and it's not out the realms of possibility the way things are going, give him another contract because he'll have done bloody amazing. He really will this season to have got us that high.
Wow. This leads in perfectly to question 2. What has changed for you from earlier in the season to now? Because obviously you couldn't get a result anywhere at the beginning.
We couldn't buy a result.
No.
And if you look just before the World Cup, when we actually got a few wins together, there were all sort of bottom end teams, and no disrespect to them. When we beat Villa, they were in 11th. That was the highest team that we'd beaten, obviously up until Spurs.
Yeah.
But our back 4, well, first of all, let's start with the goalkeeper. Casper's gone, and he's a big voice. I think it was right that he went. I think his best days were past. And as a club, don't get me wrong, if you walked in now, I'd bend over and have his babies. I mean, I love the guy to bits for what he's done for the club. But his best by date had come and gone. He was turning into a Dracula who was scared of crosses and what have you. And so it was time for a change. Danny Ward came in. I mean, he was 12 million when we bought him 5-6 seasons ago from Liverpool. So it was expensive as a number 2.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because Casper was doing so well, he never got the games that a normal number 2 would have done.
Yes.
Casper never got injured, not that I'd wish injury on any player, of course. But so it took him a while, and everybody was going mad about, he's rubbish and blah, blah, blah. At one point, I think at the World Cup, he was 4th in the table for clean sheets. Once he got settled in, he's become more commanding. So that's helped. The back 4 has settled down. We had, let's say, the Fofana situation at the start. For some reason, Rodgers was playing Armoury at left centre back, and he doesn't know that side of the pitch. So he put him back onto the right when FaZe came in, put him back on the right, and it worked. I don't know why Soyuncu isn't getting the game. So there's been a lot of, the defence has sort of been up in the air sort of thing. Vardy hasn't been on fire like he used to be. So really, now we filled those gaps that we knew we had fault. We were playing a 19-year-old at left back. And don't get me wrong, he's played in Europe. He's won more trophies than Harry Kane, but then again, who hasn't? But he's 19. He's come through the youth team, and he was playing every single game. Well, Christensen has come in, and it's meant that he can sort of, take a bit of a back seat. So it's all kind of just fitting now into place. The jigsaw's come together, and the biggest difference is those 3 gaps being filled. Daniel Armoury is not really a centre-back, but he was giving it his all, and he did all right, better when he was on the right. But we've got Sutar in from Norwich. What a signing he looks to be. We've got Tete on the right now. Maybe finally we've found somebody to replace Mahrez. It's that, though. If you said to me what's the biggest one thing that's changed your season, it would have to be the January transfer window. with the players that we brought in.
Are you? Don't want to go into like too much detail with this because obviously it's just a question that's quickly popped into my head. Are you happy that you've kept Tielemans?
You did say quick, didn't you?
Yeah.
Tielemans, to be totally honest with you, he can sod off as far as I'm concerned now. You know, Harry Maguire, we saved Harry Maguire when he went down with Hull. Because when you look where Hull went, they went down and down and what have you. Man United was sniffing around for him. His contract was coming up, and he came to the club and said, look, I want to go because I want to go. Man United are a bigger club, and we appreciate that. You know, he's probably going to, win more with United than he would be for us, play in Europe more, the big games, etc. Said, but you saved my career, so I don't want you to lose out. What I'll do is I'll sign a new contract, but I want clauses in that I can speak to teams that are in Europe, or if this is a minimum amount that you can ask for me, and that's why we could ask for £80 million for him. Yes, I would. Yes, I would have him back. That's another. There you go. I would have him back in a heartbeat. But that's why we could ask £80 million for him. Tielemans, I love the club, but I don't want to sign a new contract. So we're writing £40 million off, which is what we paid for him. We're not going to get anything in thing. The problem we've had is that Brendan's had to play him because technically he's one of the best players we've got. And I think they held on to him. Got to hold on to him because we were more likely to stay up if he stayed.
Yeah. And
if we'd got relegated, we would have lost more money than the 40 million than we were losing on him. But there was no reason that he couldn't sign a contract that said, look, if Arsenal, if Newcastle, Man United come in for me, if any club that comes in for 20 million, with a minimum of 20 million or whatever, I can talk to them. He could have done more for us, if you like. So at the moment, he can go off, break a leg and disappear for all I'm concerned at the moment.
Fair enough. I just wanted your view because a lot of Arsenal fans are still keen on Tielemans.
To be honest with you, I fall out with Arsenal fans, and if he goes to Arsenal, he goes to Arsenal. I think he would more likely have to have been sold when he was winning us the FA Cup, and the last few seasons haven't been the best for him. But this attitude, not all fans, but of course he wants to come to us. We're Arsenal. That is what clubs like Leicester, our size, don't particularly like. He goes to you, he goes to you, but have some respect, sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't like that as myself. Right. So, what are Leicester City's strengths that could hurt Arsenal this weekend, in your opinion?
Right. Like I keep going on, our defence is a lot stronger now. So I think we can sort of stop. I think you will score, but I think we'll keep the score down a bit more this time. I mean, the two wingers we've got, Harvey Barnes and Tete. Before we had Tete, we had Maddison on the right, and Maddison, to be honest with you, he could play in any position, but his best position is in the centre. Purely by signing Tete, we have improved two of our players. One of those is Maddison, because it means he can go into the middle of the pitch now, and he can go where he wants. He can pop up on the left, he can pop up on the right. He's got that freedom, and that is when he is at his best. He goes, he gets the ball, he makes things happen. What Tete has also done is taken the pressure off Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes will... He knows no fear. His end product isn't always brilliant, but he will run at the defence, run at you, cause problems, get free kicks, and then you've got Maddison coming up to take the free kick. And you know what his free kicks are like. But it means now we've got Tete, who's our first ever Brazilian, and he wasn't particularly in the game against Man United, but he was probably the one player that caused them problems. he's a tricky. Well, he's Brazilian. Let's just leave it at that, shall we? And the fact that he's at Shakhtar Donetsk, he was, well, technically still is. He'd gone to, was it Lille or somebody in France on loan? We had to negotiate with them to let him out the loan so that he can come to us on loan. So that's how highly we thought of him. But like I say, getting the one player in has increased those. And Kelechi Iheanacho is hitting form.
Yes. Yeah, I'm happy for him, to be honest.
Oh,
I've seen so much stick about him, and it's...
Oh, he's never had the chance. Again, how could you drop Vardy? I mean, you couldn't.
Well, exactly. You could.
But now, in fairness, he's coming towards the twilight of his career. 70 minutes into the game, your back four might be knackered. You see Kelechi going off, you think, thank God, and then it's, oh shit, Vardy's coming on.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the way I see it going. So, yeah, the two wingers and Maddison, though, are key to the game.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of Maddison myself. I just love him. Right, your weaknesses that Arsenal can exploit.
Weaknesses? What are weaknesses? Depends who he's playing in midfield as the defensive midfielder, because that if he sticks with Mendy, it might not be as weak. But we do, as much as I'm happy with the defence, there's still room for improvement there.
Yeah,
there's still the communication between Danny Ward and the defenders isn't brilliant. So it's a hell of a lot better than it was. I mean, if it was a 0 before, it's a 5 now, but we're still not. So if you get I'd used to say corners because we were absolutely awful from corners, but we've improved on that. So we've got a set piece coach. But yeah, free kicks, you can cause us trouble. We're not particularly brilliant at defending them. And like I say, it's Danny Ward's first season. I know Silver's saying there, he's obviously not a fan of Wout Faes there, you can see. The funny thing is, up until the Liverpool game, when he got the 2 own goals, he was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. That kind of, obviously knocked his confidence, and he hasn't been quite the same since then. But he's an old-fashioned centre-back, gets the ball. If he can't do anything with it, he'll boot it into Rose Ed,
Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting one. Let's get into some comments. Let's go back to Colin came back here. You're going to win tonight, so it's all good. And Bobby, I've been really nice recently. Thank you very much. Depends what you call nice. What happened? It's an easy answer. Spursy went all Spursy, obviously talking about the 4-1. Question for you. Should I have any Leicester players in my FPL this weekend?
Yes. Get Tetty in. You've got to have Maddison in. By God, if you haven't got Maddison in now, what are you doing? He is the best midfielder in the country at the moment. And I'd stick Kelechi in there to get you goal.
There you go, then. There you go, Colm. Chris advised there. Tony, possibly trying to wind you up a little bit here. The last 2 times Arsenal won the Premier League, Leicester were relegated in both seasons.
Sorry, my memory doesn't go that far back, mate. I'm so sorry. I refer you back to the time capsule.
Cole, we're hoping Man United win tonight. Generally, from a goalkeeper coach, Danny Ward is an underrated goalkeeper. He's very knowledgeable about his game.
Yeah, like I said, somebody at the start of the season, I wanted Casper to go and Danny to come through.
Yeah. I'm conflicted, Tony. I get the benefits to United progressing from an Arsenal point of view, but I can't wish our rivals to ever win. Exactly. He's already asked that one, didn't we? That it's still February. Arteta is a baller. He will cause lots of problems, I think. We'll get into score predictions very shortly, actually. I'm sorry I don't rate Wout Faes. I have to be honest, I don't. I watch a lot of La Liga. I was slightly shocked that you went for him because I didn't like him in La Liga, but I hope he does well. I
hope he gets a goal tomorrow now.
Well, to be honest, I watch a lot of like European leagues.
Yeah,
That guy was. I was like, I don't know why you've gone for him. There was better for the same price, and I just found it very strange. But he's definitely had some good games.
Though? That's always the problem.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
But
and what? Let's be honest. He might not be good enough for Arsenal in all respects, but he could be good enough for Leicester.
Yeah, that's probably where my head is slightly different.
Yeah. And I understand that, and that is actually a compliment to Arsenal.
Yeah, thank you. Voot is a scoring machine, but we need to watch out for big Harry Souttar. Yeah, I do actually do like Harry Souttar as well. I don't think there's a weakness at all. He's a good goalkeeper. That's from Colm again. Why Madison when we and I got mate? I've said this. I'm fed up of saying this. I would still want both. Madison and Odegaard could still play together. That's my opinion. I'll always stick with that. Because Madison is not just an attacking midfielder. He's so talented. Leicester came out firing versus Man United and De Gea had to make big saves. Very true.
Yeah, that was true.
I'm sorry.
And we had a very dodgy ref. I'm sorry to say it, but we did have a very, very dodgy ref and VAR.
Yes. I don't normally let people talk about their shows, but Chris did have, was it Mr. Hackett on the other day?
Hackett, indeed.
Yes.
Ex-head of PGMOL, in fact.
Yes. So he had, if you go and watch his show 2 days ago, it's definitely worth a watch. Mr. Hackett was on there. I just call him Mr. Hackett because he doesn't deserve the Keith for me. But there we go. My son once flirted with the idea to support them because they are called the Foxes. His son, the surname is Fox, so his son likes the Fox because
the Silver Fox, eh?
Yeah. Bobby, so you know, okay, he's going into some games. I've actually got them in my ear at the moment, so yeah, I do know the games are going on as well. Thank you for that, Moss. There's going to be a challenge. Yes, there is going to be a challenge. I'm just heading into that now. Hands off, Madison. It's going to be pairing up. No. If it was Xhaka, he would be suspended. But because we're not going into that. That's different show, different conversation.
Well said, that man. I don't know who he is, but I like him.
That's Moss. That's our Canadian friend.
Well done, Canadian. Well, I've always loved Canada. What a great country that is.
The Silver Fox wanted to be a Foxy. Right, let's get into the challenge. I have explained it to Chris, and Chris has actually had to get the Arsenal team sheet up to be able to do it. So
and that's no disrespect. That's no disrespect to you. But once you get past the, what I would say, obvious names, I don't know anybody's opposition players. I couldn't name your starting 11. And I couldn't do it for Man United. I couldn't do it for Man City. So you will have to help me out on this.
I will. But this is going to be fun. This is going to be the fun challenge. Here we go. Here's the intro. Okay, so I did speak to Chris beforehand regarding the formation because, as everyone knows that watches the challenge, it's the home team's formation that has the advantage. So I think we're happy with this formation, aren't we, Chris?
It's as close as we're going to get.
Yeah, exactly. It's a tricky one, this one. So we are going to start with the 5 Leicester players that Chris wants to pick. So who are we going to start with?
Right, I've got that the wrong way around then. Sorry, 5 Leicester players. First, okay. Okay, well, let's start with Madison, obviously.
Right, we want him as the CM,
yeah? Yeah, let's start with Madison.
Okay.
And this is where the problem is because I don't know who they're up against for Arsenal. So,
yeah, no worries.
If I'm just picking my best 5
that's
players.
Exactly that's the best way I want it, the best players.
Yeah. The left centre-back, Christensen. Victor Christensen.
Is that a left centre back?
No, left back. Sorry, left back. I've got you with the spelling now, haven't I?
Yeah. Christensen. Right, what's his first?
Oh, that's the top one, yeah, because he's still at Copenhagen on there.
Oh, it's Victor. Oh, okay. Well, there we go. That wasn't too bad. Okay, next player.
Oh, I've got 5 to go for, haven't I? I'm definitely not having you. Can have Ramsdale. I'll give you Ramsdale.
Okay.
Let's have a think. I've got to go. The problem is, you see, you got me thinking now, because I'm thinking that if I'm putting these players in, who would I be knocking out from Arsenal?
Now you can see why it's called the challenge.
Yeah, because obviously Xhaka's going to be in there for you. Okay, let's go centre back, right centre back, Sutar.
Harry Sutar, yeah.
Yeah, that's him. He's still, I think, it's Stoke. Yeah.
Yeah. This system hasn't reset for a while.
Yeah. How many? I've got 2 left, haven't I?
2 more, yeah.
Okay. Okay, sod it. I'm going to go Kelechi Iheanacho up top because he is on form at the moment.
Right, this is going to be fun. Iheanacho. Oh.
Yeah, I have that same problem, so I'm just going to sit here and let you enjoy trying to work it
out.
There we go.
That wasn't too bad.
Yeah. And let's put. I'm tempted. As you get, I'm not a Tielemans fan at the moment, so I'm going to put Tete in there. I think.
Okay, do you want him as a right
wing? Yeah.
Let's see if he comes up. That is him, isn't it?
Yes.
Olympic player. Okay.
Half our team don't play for us, according to.
Yeah, I know. It's this system needs to sell, but I love the system because I can do this with it. So
yeah, no, I use this one as well myself, so I know.
Right, so goalkeeper, you did say Ramsdale earlier.
Ramsdale. I mean, what a buy he has been for you.
Yeah.
I mean, those saves he made for you against us. I mean, God, I know some players didn't like him, but some fans didn't like him. Sorry, I should say, when you first got him. But for me, should be England's number 1.
Yes, I agree. Totally. Right back. Right. So to help you, it's either going to be Tomiyasu or Ben White.
Let's go. I'm going to go Tomiyasu.
Yep.
I've heard some worrying things about Ben White. Whether he's not on best of form at the moment.
No, it's fair enough. This is your team. Right. The centre back now, we can have Saliba, you can have Gabriel, you can have Rob Holding, you can have Kivior, whoever you want out of those 4.
Let us go. It's either going to be Saliba or Gabriel. I'm not looking at the comments. I've gone full screen, so probably everybody's
I never read the comments because I'm literally on this screen. I can't see anybody. I can't even see you right now.
Let's go for Saliba.
Okay. Yeah, always.
I'm picking your worst players. Might be a ploy.
This is your team, and it will compete with tomorrow's team that I do with the Armoury lads. So we'll see who wins out of there. Right, so we got two CDMs. So I'm gonna guess it's gonna be Partey and Xhaka being CDMs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't argue with those two.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if they're the wrong way around. Don't care. There we go. Right, so left winger. Now you can have Saka, you could have Martinelli, you can have Trossard. It is down to you.
Well, out of those 3, we can get rid of Trossard.
Okay.
Xhaka. Oh, sorry. Who was the
Saka and Martinelli.
I'm going to go Saka.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Chris's challenge. I actually quite like it, actually, because it's a mixed bag. I like it. Ramsdale in goal, Tomiyasu, Sutar, Saliba, Christensen, Xhaka, Partey, Maddison, Tete, Saka, Iheanacho. I do quite like that, to be honest.
I must admit, can I just say, I actually like this idea. I might pinch this off you.
No, you carry on. Honestly, I've done it for years and I love it. I love it because it's a good conversation piece as well.
Yes,
I use it as an icebreaker for stuff, so it does really work and it's really interesting and it makes you people think, the opposition fans as well, not just. You just don't think, because a lot of these combined 11s that I see on TikTok and YouTube, it's always, for me, very biased.
Yeah.
Because, and sometimes you can be biased. It's absolutely fine. But if you just put yourself a bit of a challenge and put more of their players in, you'll think about it a little bit more.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if we just did a sort of a whole mixed 11, it'd probably be sort of 10-1 to Arsenal.
Well, yeah, and that to me is not fair, because it's not fair to the opposition.
No.
Because you have got there's a couple of players I would quite happily have from. I think if we, because we've got a WhatsApp group, I'm pretty sure we've chatted about 4 of Leicester players that we would quite happily have. So that's 4. Yeah. You know, so your team's not that bad if there's 4 players that we would happily have.
Fair point. Fair point.
So let's quickly go to the game, because I know Moss doesn't like the challenge, but still does it anyway. Yeah, because he doesn't like doing it, but he does it. Ramsdale, White, Sutar, Saliba, Oz, Party, KDH, like today, he loves Dewsbury Hall. We all do, to be honest. Odegaard.
He is. Yeah. It was I can't not pick Maddison and put Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah, and as we said here, I think Chris might have froze. Chris just froze for a minute there. Yeah, he's only put exactly. He only put 3 in there. Here we go. That's better. Yeah, but I still don't think he wins. No. No, I actually do like Chris's. We'll see what the Armoury lads do tomorrow. Yeah, he does. Spot on. Right, so before we get into it's a better idea than best 11 says, think about to make a squad for best possible to win matches. Exactly. Right, let's get into the last couple of questions and then that is the show done. Right, who do you think will win the Premier League this season, Chris?
At the start of the season, I went for Manchester City.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie. I'd love to see Arsenal win it, because you haven't won it for a while. It'll shut all your fans up. But no,
that's the problem. It won't.
No, but no, it's somebody different. You know, and I don't mean. I mean, it has been a while since you won it, but it's nice to see different teams win it.
Yes.
Recently, I actually said, I possibly blame me putting the kiss of death on it. I did say it was Arsenal's to lose.
Yeah.
And it looks like you could well be doing that. Because since then you've sort of, the gap's been closed, as they say.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to see Arsenal do it. I think you could do it. And but I just think it's going to be Manchester City. Only because of the experience they've had. They've come from behind before and won it. If you guys finish second, and I know there'll be a lot of Arsenal fans out there, Luca, for example, that will be like, oh, it's not good enough, blah, blah, blah. But if you finish second this season, then it is a springboard for you to go on and win it next season.
Yeah, exactly. Big up to Luke. From now on, I'm saying Arsenal because of Stephen. Yeah. I've said from day one this season it will be Man City. I still don't think United are out of it, to be honest. I do a lot of watch-alongs and I've watched United play, and they're decent enough to be able to do it.
I think they'll be top 4, but I can't see them winning the whole thing.
No, but yeah, and we're going to get into the last question. The Armoury guys in the comments, you're doing your predictions tomorrow, but this is time for me and Chris to do our score predictions, which I write down. What's your prediction?
Well, I do a prediction with 3 Leicester Till I Die guys and 5 ex-Leicester City players.
Okay.
And it's a mixed bag this week.
Okay.
Last week we all kind of went for a Leicester win, and I think it's kind of knocked us a bit back. Got a bit carried away with the Tottenham game. I think we did. I've actually gone here for a 1-1.
Okay. Okay.
Simply because we're back at the King Power. That said, our away form is better than our home form.
Yeah.
But you hurt us earlier in the season, and I'm fed up with you beating us. I'm just fed up with it.
Hang on, I'm going to bring it back up now. Hang on. The last time you beat us at Big Bell was only 3 years ago. It wasn't that long ago.
No, but how many wins have we got in there? Right, hang on.
We've got 3
you can
there.
do stats. I can do stats as well. Of the last 6 matches, we've won 1, and you've won 5. I rest my case. But no, like I say, we haven't done well against the top teams. Could we win? I think that might be just pushing it a little bit too far. But I would be more than happy with a point off you, and so would, I'm sure, all Man City fans out there as well.
Yeah, true. Right. My prediction. I think you're going to score 2. I think you'll score 2 against us.
Wow.
But I think we might score 3. I'm going to go for another 3-2 like I did against Villa. I think it's going to be one of those games. I think it's going to be our defenses are going to be rubbish. It's going to be a down to attacking talent.
Well, Steve Walsh, I don't know if you remember.
Yes, I know him. Yeah.
Ian Wright's best friend after that game. He actually went 2-2. So,
okay.
He thinks there'll be goals as well.
Again, from now on, because of Stephen 3-0 Arsenal, you can write that down for every game. Okay, mate, I will. So Luke's going to go for 3-0 every time Arsenal play. That's absolutely fine. But yes, Chris, that is the end of the show. I really appreciate it. Where can everyone find you, mate?
Thanks for having me on. Leicester Till I Die TV on absolutely everything. So whatever it comes up under different names, but if you put Leicester Till I Die TV, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, I don't do OnlyFans. I've been banned off that, but Leicester Till I Die TV. And if you don't mind me saying, just if you are interested in VAR and the decisions this season, do check out what Mr. Hackett said on the show.
I won't call him his first name
because very nice man. Yes, it was great candor. He didn't hide from anything, and he gave very honest opinions. And I learned a lot. I have to be honest with you. I learned a lot. But I appreciate that, mate. I appreciate that.
Well, this is why I love Chris. He's also forgot to mention that he had a slight interview with Stan Collymore as well, But
yes.
Oh, yes. See, even I know his own content.
Well, I didn't want to push my luck and mention 2 shows.
Honestly, yesterday he did an interview with Stan Collymore. He's a very interesting character. I know him for other reasons, but I don't want to go into and shouldn't be talked about on YouTube. But I know him for other reasons.
We all know those reasons, and I think he was quite relieved that I didn't go there.
Yeah. But to be fair, he did impress me with his football skills back in the day. I did quite like.
I mean, he was. Who can forget those Liverpool-Newcastle games?
Exactly. That's why I did the watch along at the weekend. I did that game because the Newcastle Liverpool games have been so good. And was I disappointed? Yes, I was.
Yeah, we all were. He was a nice guy. He was a nice guy.
And Luke is saying hi to you there.
Hi, Luca. How are you doing, mate?
Right. As for me, I will be back tomorrow at midday because I'm doing a live watch along for the Europa draws with Tony. And then I'll be back tomorrow evening at 7 for the Armoury Leicester preview with all the Armoury lads. And then I'm back on Saturday for the Real Madrid Atletico Madrid watch along on Full Time Sports Network, which is my main channel. And on Sunday, I'm doing the Rangers versus Celtic Scottish League Cup final. So
surprised them two being in the final again.
To be honest, it is actually a surprise because they sometimes they actually do get knocked out by other teams. It's quite funny. Everyone said this to me, but you know what? Because it's not on main TV, I thought I'll do it because a lot of Scottish fans like to tune in. Like, I've got some great Scottish friends. I am part Scottish, so that's why I do the Scottish games anyway. What time's the draw? It is midday tomorrow. Moss, that will be 5 a.m. for you, I think.
Well, it starts at 12. By the time they actually start putting the balls out, it'll be 4:30. You know what?
Well, to be fair, they do have to finish it by 1 for the next draw. So, at some point within that hour, the balls will come out and we'll know who's playing
about Europe anyway. Who's bothered? What's Europe? Who gives
that? And there's Tony. He will be with me tomorrow. 6 a.m. for you. I wasn't too sure if you're 6 hours or 7 hours. I get confused with all the time zone differences. Right, guys, really appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow, as I've said. I need to find the outro, and then we are done. But as always, and it's not Chris is not going to join me in for this saying this, but come on, you Gunners.